All right. What's up, everybody? I hope you're all doing wonderful. In today's episode of Masters of Modal Rock, we're going to go all the way back to 1986 and check out Van Halen's 5150. Let's get started. Roll credits. Cool. First, we're going to listen to the intro and the verse, and then I'm going to break it down, play through a couple things for you guys, and then we're going to talk about how to use modes in your own music like Eddie does in this song, and then we're going to play out the video like we always do. All right, 5150, here we go. Yeah, what an awesome tune. So the first thing you need to know is that we're going to be in drop C sharp. That's going to be drop D and then down another half step. But I'm going to be referring to everything throughout this video as if it were just a regular drop D. Now, our opening chords here they're a little interesting because we have an A pedal tone, but on top of that pedal tone we start with a D going to a D9. And so it sort of is ambiguous as to whether we're in sort of any kind of A or D yet. And then we move to an E major, which would suggest that we're now either an A major or some type of D Lydian. So I'm going to go with A major since we had that pedal. And that's just an A to a D, back up to our E chord. Next we have this D. And this is sort of interesting. Now we get something that would be outside of more or less D Lydian and be more related to what I would consider to be A major, but this is actually bringing in A mixolydian. That's a flat 7 chord. So everything has fit nicely so far into A major. We have a D chord, we have an E chord, that's 4 and 5, but now we have this G, this flat 7, and that definitely puts us in the A mixolydian territory, or at least borrowing from there, and that's going to be a theme throughout the rest of this video, borrowing from that mixolydian mode. So again, D to E to back to D, and then that G natural 7, that flat 7 to A. Okay, and just a quick refresher about what is A major. Versus what is A mixolydian. They both have a major chord as their tonic chord, right? So A major. You're going to see that A mixolydian has 2 sharps and A major has 3 sharps. That means that our G sharp, what was our leading tone to A major, has now come down to G natural. So this section is immediately followed by a type of variation of the intro that opens up and begins with this sort of A suspended to A, E, A thing. It goes like this. A suspension to this big, what sounds like a D9 to me. Interestingly enough, Eddie is still doing the A pedal here. So he creates some really interesting sort of dissonances and doesn't quite give you the resolutions you want, which makes you, I think, want to listen to the song even more. You want it to keep going. It's really cool. It's very unique. But again, we're still in the realm of A major with our D, E major, and A major chords, and then we also have that flat 7. So again, we're borrowing from the Mixolydian mode here. And that's going to bring us to the main section, or the first verse, and we actually get a key change here. Now, if you remember when we broke down Dirty Movies, we had very much the same kind of thing. We started in A, sort of an A Mixolydian, and then we moved into a D, or a type of D rock and a D Mixolydian type riff. And that's exactly what happens here. So now we go into... Right, and Eddie introduces this C natural, right, but we can retain our F sharp, putting us in D Mixolydian, right, so which is 1 sharp, or it looks like a major scale with our flat 7. So if you remember, D major sounds like this, has that C sharp. If we flatten that C, make it C natural, we turn it into D Mixolydian. Right, and then we get this where he really hammers home that C natural, but then we jump right back into A Mixolydian. So we have an A that has like a little scale ascending through it, followed up by an A arpeggio, and then it goes into this kind of D, but that D actually turns out to be a G9. So all together we get this. Now, right after that, we get a very awesome turnaround. So it's kind of like we had a verse, pre-chorus, and now we're going to get a type of bridge where we get this sort of instrumental breakdown. It's on an E minor, G, G9, F major, A major, C, back to our D, which is now a D9. So all together we get this. So we've borrowed harmonies back to back from D minor and D major. And then we jump right back into D Mixolydian with this C power chord. And that last one is just straight up D major or a D9. It's so awesome. So of course following that section is the chorus, which again is following the kind of open section in the intro. Pretty much the same licks and follows the same harmonic structure of that A major with the borrowing from A Mixolydian. So we're going to go ahead and stop there with the analysis, because the only thing really left that's different is the solo, which happens to be more or less in B Dorian, and I think I'm going to save that or video for another day when I talk more generally about the Dorian mode. And so we're starting to get a sense of how Eddie likes to use these modes. At least in Drop D for sure, because many of the same type of things happened in Dirty Movies. And then I'm also going to look at the song Drop Dead Legs, where we're going to get a lot of the same type of movement, where we have this beginning in A major and then moving into the more Drop D or D oriented type riffs. So the question becomes, how can we use this as a model, or how can we let this influence our music, or what can we take away from this that can help us write better or more interesting music? And I think at this point the answer is fairly obvious, and that is the use of borrowing from other modes and from other parallel keys, such as your parallel D major, your parallel D minor, jumping into D Dorian, D Mixolydian, D major, and you can create a really wonderful blend of tonalities that have a very unique sound to them. So let me just give you a very simple example of how to do this. Now, the song I'm going to give you will be in drop D. Now remember, we're still in dropped C sharp, so when you hear the song start, it's going to be in a slightly different key from this. Main riff starts off in D Mixolydian. Okay, that's a D major chord. We go straight to the C9, G over B, and then I bring in F natural. Goes back to G. All right, and obviously that F natural comes from D minor. It's not part of D Mixolydian, so there's a borrowed harmony. Okay, now the other thing that you're going to notice is that there's really two sections to this song. There's that section, and then there's this section. So we have this E minor, G to an A major. That A major is actually borrowed from D major, the key D major. So not only do I borrow from D minor, I also borrow from D major. And I went straight up to that 7. So right after that major, it went boom, right into D Mixolydian, and then back to our riff. Okay, so there's just a very simple example of how to borrow from other keys and related modes to get cool sounds. Now, was I thinking at any time that I wrote that, hey, I want to borrow specifically from this mode? No, of course not. I was listening to the sound. I can simply talk about it in those terms and explain it away about why I like those sounds and how I'm mixing them together. I would say it's extremely important to me that theory never precedes any sort of creation or anything like that, as much to the extent that it's possible, of course. But in terms of using, I want to do Dorian followed by Mixolydian followed by Lydian followed by major, is a good practice in academia only, in my experience. So while it's fun to attempt to do things like that, I think that for most people writing something really creative, it's just difficult to do it from that set of like first principle philosophical thinking. All right, off my soapbox. So I'm going to go ahead and play out this video, of course, and I'm just going to solo over a backing track. I will do kind of some similar things with my solos. You'll see me using simple, different kind of modes and modal tones, such as D pentatonic minor, maybe D pentatonic major. You might even hear a little D Mixolydian. Might even hear a little D Dorian. Alright, so anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I will be doing a 500 subscriber giveaway of a Joyo zip drive pedal, which I will be reviewing soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell, always be excellent to each other, and party on.